Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, a channel for marriage-minded men. I talk about relationships here, and I got married to a Filipina, still am, back in 2015. Today's video is called How to Change Your Filipina and Why You Shouldn't. A lot of times I hear comments about men, afraid that their women are going to change, but some of that's not necessarily bad change. They probably have in mind bad change, like they've been influenced by the wrong people or the wrong culture. But there's only so much you can do to prevent that. Personally, as a Christian, I like to pray for as many things as I can. And some men will they'll try to change their Filipinas because they might have this thought that somehow they're a little bit superior, or the country they come from is superior, or this woman has so much to learn. Maybe he feels like he needs to change her in some way. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Please subscribe here to Love Beyond the Sea. I've got over 1,900 videos. I take marriage very seriously. One way you could try to change your Filipino wife, I'm talking about now somebody from overseas, as compared to someone in your country, would be what she eats. They eat a different diet, I guess you'd call it, over there. A lot of rice, a lot of white rice. And I know the first couple of years my wife was here, after the 8-month visa wait, spousal visa, I tried to steer her away from white rice. And I don't think white rice is the best thing to eat. When I was over in the Philippines, the 5 times I went, we actually bought brown rice. Nobody else in the family ate brown rice, just me, and they ate white rice, and my wife still eats white rice, I would say, excuse me, every day since she's been here. That's been since January of 2016. Right now it's about the 3rd week of June 2025. And that's just what I think you can expect. If you can get her to eat something else, I guess that's fine, as long as she is okay with it. Rice over there, if you've never been to the Philippines, it's just, they eat it all the time. And if you've been to the Philippines, it's quite obvious. It might be 2 or 3 times a day. Anytime you go out to eat somewhere, there's going to be rice to eat. So just keep that in mind. She probably doesn't want you to try to change her diet. If anything, whether it's rice or something else, Pepsi, pop is another thing. They drink a lot of pop, Coca-Cola out there, which is another thing I've told my wife. I wish she wouldn't drink, because I don't drink it. I used to. I think it's terrible for your health. And I really don't see her drinking much of that. Even if she gets a can of Sprite, it'll last a whole week. So I think I can live with that. I just don't want her to get carried away on these addictive foods. Also, if you try to stifle her independence, and I've seen this before, that's where I get these ideas for the videos, often other people's comments, you try to stifle her independence. Well, maybe she has a lot of independence and influence in the Philippines. Stands to reason she wants to continue that in your country. For example, maybe she's been working, depends how old she is in the Philippines. Maybe she has a college degree, many do. And she wants to see how far she can get in your country. My wife and I are here in the United States. And many guys say they don't want their wives working. Well, I think that's a bad idea. What good can come from that? Well, she'll just be influenced by some other men out there and end up cheating on me. Well, then you married the wrong person. And if she's easily influenced by other women that work there, then you married the wrong person. So another thing would be, kind of goes along with this, if with working, is if you say no credit card. Maybe she's kind of the money person in her family in the Philippines, especially if it's an older daughter, and you say, well, you're not going to work. You're not going to have a credit card either. Not going to have a checking account, if people still do those sorts of things. I'm about to write a check, because that's the only way this place here takes money, but it's very unusual. You might say no car. I can't give you a car, because then you can have independence. And in a sense, you can leave a comment if you disagree with me here, but it seems like you're making her a slave by not letting her work, have a credit card, checking account, car, basically no independence. And I'm sure she's not expecting that, and I'm sure she doesn't appreciate that. My wife has been here working about ever since she got here, so probably 9.5 years. She's doing extremely well in the workforce, makes a lot of money, but it's not just about the money, it's about her using her skills as I want her to her full potential. And that just so happens she's going to make more money than I did, because her skills are different. Okay, very, very bright, learns fast, retains information, really good leader, and the companies need that here. So I'm certainly happy to let her work. She's doing great, saving for herself, helping us financially. Credit card, that's something you're just going to have to learn how to deal with, paying things off on time. I don't want any credit card bills or expenses racked up without paying it off immediately. Checking accounts, kind of same thing. No car, independence, freedom. Filipina probably wants to have her own car someday. You don't see a ton of cars in the Philippines, mostly jeepneys and what do they call those, the tricycles and buses. Sometimes you see cars. I mean, it's not like it's rare, but they're very expensive. And if she works, makes good money here, there's no reason she couldn't have a car, unless you're afraid that it's going to be too dangerous for her to drive. But you really don't know until you give her a shot to drive. But my wife's been driving since as soon as she could here. I don't think she wasted a whole lot of time. And I was giving her lessons in the Philippines. Back then it was like $300. And then she took lessons, adult lessons here, for about $500 and $300. I think now it's $500. But she drives just fine, has all that experience. Another way to change her would be to have her not have so much influence, her family have so much influence with her. If you say, well, I'm not going to help them, you're not going to help them either, because I'm not going to let you work and I can't afford to help them. Well, boy, you're really damaging that relationship, because she loves her family more than she loves you. And you really want her to be able to help her family. And I would recommend, helping them yourself. Christianity, I wrote down, as far as religion goes, you don't want to change her. If she's a Christian, you don't want to try to tell her that's silly or stupid or something, because that's a big, big part of her. You don't want to tell her you're not going to church, you're not going to go, study the Bible with some women from church. You don't want to do that. You don't want to disallow friends. She needs friends. It can be hard to find good ones in your country, but you gotta look out for them, to try to find them for her if possible. Education, you can change her by saying you're not going to get any continued education. Maybe she doesn't want any. My wife did, and she's one class short of getting an associate's degree. The work kind of got in the way of that as far as the hours go, but I hope she can finish that someday. And because she's very bright, and I wanted her to get that degree if she wanted to. Another thing would be, let her do things like, if she wants to work in the garden, don't stifle her creativity. Let her do things like that. If it's not the garden, which it probably will be, because they like flowers over there and gardens. My wife loves that. She's been working. She was out in 95-degree heat yesterday doing that. Nobody else was outside. It did get too much and she had to come in, but she went out later. So don't stifle her creativity. You should help her to grow in many ways. If not, she is not going to respect you. So the gist of this video is just don't try to change her. Encourage her to be the best version of herself that she can be. It's only to your advantage. So please leave a comment, get notifications for future videos here on Love Beyond the Sea.